You haven't told anybody how bad it actually is, have you? I haven't either, until now. If you're 55 or older, that's me. I'm 55, like exactly, just a few months into 55. These numbers are going to hit close to home. About half of all women in the US over 50 have no retirement savings at all, which means half of you watching this right now know exactly what I mean. And if you're in that situation, you have probably felt ashamed, like you failed. Same, girl, same. Yeah, this video is for you. We're going to look at the real data, the real reasons this happens, and the real path forward. You know, let's start with the data because it helps. Because you cannot feel like a personal failure when half of the room is in the exact same seat. 51% of women ages 61 to 65 have less than $100,000 in total assets. 67% of single women approaching retirement have less than $100,000 in assets. Women retire with 32% less saved than men on average. This is not a you problem. This is a pattern, and patterns don't happen because half the population all personally failed at adulting. They happen because there are real reasons behind them. And I'm going to show you exactly what some of those reasons are, because once you see them, the shame starts to not feel legitimate. So what are those reasons? Some of them are circumstances, things that happened that made saving harder. Some of them are choices that we made. And I'm going to be honest about both with you. There are two reasons women end up here. And again, the first is circumstances. Things like caregiving costs women an average of almost $300,000 in lost wages and retirement savings over their lifetimes. Almost $300,000 gone. Not because you were irresponsible, but because someone needed you and you showed up for them. Women spend an average of about 12 years out of the workforce, raising children or caring for aging relatives. So that's 12 years of no contributions, no compounding of those contributions, no employer match. And then on top of all of that, we live longer. We need more money to fund more years than the men the retirement model was built around. If that's your story, that's real and it matters. It's important. And I don't want you to gloss over that piece. Those years cost you something concrete, and it's okay to name that without saying you'd make a different choice. It's okay. But for many of us, and certainly for me, there's a second reason, and this one is harder to say out loud. Because for me, it was choosing the present over the future. Every single time. We paid off massive student loans. I mean, multiple degrees and private colleges between two people can rack up a lot of student loan debt. IRS debt from a previous business, medical bills, multiple international adoptions, and a few other things in life. We did the responsible thing with the money that we had, or mostly responsible. We sold a home we could no longer afford. In 2019, we broke even on the home, thankfully. The plan was to buy again in a year or two, a lower priced home, of course. And if you know of anything that happened between 2019 and now, well, home prices doubled where we are, more than doubled. And now those lower priced homes cost more than the house that we sold that we couldn't afford. So that plan became impossible. But a lot of it was just life spending without future intention, never sacrificing the now for the future. I had income. We had income. I had chances. We had chances. We just didn't prioritize saving. That's the real answer. And I'm telling you this because I'm guessing that some version of this is your real answer too. Now, here's where I need to say something hard. And I'm saying it because I respect you, not to make you feel bad. I've watched a lot of women get stuck in a story. The story sounds kind of like this. I'm behind because of what happened to me. The circumstances that happened in my life were unfair. I didn't have the advantages that other people had. And here's the thing. Some version of those are probably true. Life is genuinely uneven. Some of those circumstances were real and they cost you real money. But the story, the part where you stay in it, that part is a choice, and it is costing you something that you cannot get back. It is costing you time. There is a difference between I'm stuck because life is unfair and I mean, I made choices. Life dealt some hard hands. I own all of it, and I can make different choices starting today. The first, it will keep you stuck and spinning and spinning. The second gives you something to actually work with. I'm not asking you to pretend that the circumstances didn't happen. I'm asking you to pick up what's left and move forward because you still have time. And we're going to prove that in just a minute. But first, drop your answer in the comments below. What's the one thing that you've been telling yourself about why you haven't started yet? Just say it out loud because naming it is the first step to leaving it behind. Mine was avoidance. So now you know where I'm starting from, and maybe it's where you are too. Now the question is, what do you actually do about it? Real quick, before we actually go deeper, after every video that I publish here on YouTube, I send out all of the resources, the key takeaways, the next steps, the things that you might need to keep moving forward from the video so that nothing slips through the cracks. The link is in the description, or you can use the QR code that's here on your screen. But before we talk about what to do, I need to deal with the thing that you're already thinking. And how do I know what you're thinking? Because I experienced it. This works for other people. I'm too far behind. My window has closed. The financial industry built a retirement model for men with 40-year careers and then told women who spent 12 years out of the workforce that they just didn't save enough. That model was never designed for your life. And you've been blaming yourself for a gap that the system created. So let me show you some real people, not motivational posters, real people who built something significant after 50. From ordinary circumstances. They didn't inherit wealth. They didn't have any tech windfalls or anything like that. They're famous now, but they weren't when they started. When they started, they were just people like you and me with something to offer and the willingness to begin. First off is Colonel Sanders. I think you know who he is. He was 62. A new interstate bypassed his highway restaurant and he lost everything. He was 62 and starting over from actual zero. So he drove around the country, sleeping in his car, pitching his chicken recipe. Julia Child published Mastering the Art of French Cooking at 49. She had her own television show by the age of 51. She did not grow up wanting to be a chef. She didn't go to culinary school until her late 30s. And she walked into a culinary world that was almost entirely male and pushed through it anyway. Her husband, Paul, didn't just tolerate her ambition. He championed it. He helped her get the book published. He believed in what she was building before anyone else did. She spent years developing, years testing, and years failing before anything happened. And then she built one of the most beloved culinary legacies in American history after most people would have had said the window was closed and written her off. Laura Ingalls Wilder published the first Little House on the Prairie book at 65. 65, you guys. The series became one of the most endearing franchises in children's literature. She didn't start young. She started when she had something real to say. None of them had a head start. None of them had decades of runway. They had expertise, they had grit, and they had the willingness to start where they were. Here is what I need you to notice. None of them started with a perfect plan. None of them had certainty that it would work, but they started anyway. That is the only thing that separates them from the women who never began. You have all three of those things. The data told you that you're not alone. The reasons told you that this isn't entirely your fault. And the proof tells you that it's not too late. Now the question is, what specifically do you build? And that's exactly where we go next. Maybe you started this video feeling like you failed. I hope that you're ending it feeling like you're exactly on time. Colonel Sanders was 62 and starting over from nothing. Laura Ingalls Wilder was 65 and hadn't written a single word yet. You haven't missed the window. You're just finally ready to climb through it. So now that you know this isn't your fault, the next question is, what are you actually going to do about it? The Start Here video is pinned at the top of this channel. It's called The Retirement Strategy That Nobody Told You Was an Option, and it is exactly where you go from here. I encourage you to dare yourself to flourish in this season of life.